Started off with what happened last night in the NBA. We had some interesting matchups, and we had a surprise appearance last night. But we're gonna start this off with the very first game of the night last night, and that was the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics overpowered the Milwaukee Bucks last night with a 92-87 win to go up 3-2 in the series. Now, last night or yesterday, I said that the Bucks were going to win this game, and they played pretty well. The Bucks started off well in the first half, and they just lost the lead in the third, and they just really never got it back. They would climb within a few points. I think it was as low as 87, 84, as close as the lead was. But they just pulled away with free throws. The Boston Celtics did. One of my big problems of last night's game was Greek Freak. Not that he didn't have a bad night. He had a great night. Greek Freak put up 16 points on just shooting 5 for 10 from the floor. He shot 50% from the floor last night. And he shot 6 for 9 from the free throw line. So he did put up his point. He did put up shots, and he did make his shots. He just didn't put up enough. I don't know if Middleton just took too many shots, because I know Middleton took a lot of shots last night. He was the leading scorer for them last night. But between the two of them, it's like we didn't see anybody else that had a scoring mentality. Like, Bledsoe, nothing. I know Bledsoe was in double figures last night, but still, they need to get Greek Freak the ball more. For sure need to get him the ball more. They would have won last night's game if they gave him maybe 5. If they gave him 5, 6 more shots and a couple of ISOs, I'm pretty sure that they would have won that game last night. But since they didn't get the ball in his hands enough, they didn't, unfortunately. And I want to give a tip of the hat again to Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens, head coach of the Boston Celtics, man. Defensive coaching last night was superb. Superb. You held him to 87 points. You held Greek Freak to 10 shots from the floor. You made him work for his 16 points. You got him to the line a few times. So big praise on the Boston Celtics and their coach. Now, Al Horford on the Boston Celtics side, he scored 22 points last night, 14 boards. It's a great veteran presence. They're winning these games because, they have a veteran like Al Horford to kind of keep the team together. Marcus Smart ain't no scrub. Jaylen Brown ain't no scrub. Jason Tatum, wonderful rookie. I like him a lot. Terry Rozier, wonderful backup point guard. Oh my goodness. I don't know if he took some of Kyrie's mojo, but damn, that was a really, really good game by them. They're all showing out. They're all exceeding expectations, in my opinion. Marcus Smart, he came back. He had a return last night. He killed it in his return. He only scored 9 points, 4 assists. He had 3 blocks though. He was a huge defensive presence for them last night. It was a huge return for them. He was key factor late in the game too with Al Horford. I think he got the game-winning assist. To put the dagger in. Now, I'm gonna jump back to the Milwaukee Bucks because I wanted to quickly praise. I wanted to throw some positivity in before I get a little salty. Milwaukee, guys, what's going on? We're a playoff team. Brogdon, where you at, man? Brogdon was a no-show last night with just 2 points. 1 for 5 shooting for the Bucks. Brogdon, we need you to score, man. It's just that easy. We need people to score basketball games. Matthew Dellavedova. I got a big problem with him too. That man didn't record a single point in his 16 minutes of play for the Bucks last night in the game. Now, this was a guy that was putting up several points in big opportunity moments for the Cleveland Cavaliers. back in their first championship run against the Golden State Warriors. Not the second, not the third, but the first. He did well. Very well. 0 points in 16 minutes is uncalled for. And that's honestly, I hate to put the blame on two people because it is a team effort. But three things happened. One, you gave Greek Freak more than 10 shots. Two, Brogdon scores more than, let's say, put up 10 points. Delhi, give me 6, dude. Just give me like 2 threes. Give me something. I don't know. But on another side note, the Boston Celtics have never lost a series when they've gone up 2-0. So, I mean, if history wants to keep writing itself the same way, Boston is going to close this series out in Game 6. Do I personally think it's going to happen? Probably. I don't know. Just by watching the game last night, if these guys play the same way that they have been playing, just getting dominated on the defensive side, not getting Greek Freak the ball, pretty sure Boston's going to just take this series over. It's a really young core. It's a really good opportunity to advance yourself into the playoffs right now. You don't have Gordon Hayward. You don't have Kyrie Irving. You know, what better way to advance yourself right now? Get it together, boys. Moving on. Actually, I'm going to move on to a different game because I have my notes from this Sixers game. Those damn Sixers, man. Those damn Sixers. But I want to talk about them last. We're going to save the best game for last. We're going to save the biggest story for last. We're just going to move right on. We're going to just quickly touch on this third game last night in the West. I'm talking about the San Antonio Spurs taking on the Golden State Warriors. Interesting game. Not just because of the win, but just because of the post game. Just to fast forward to the post game, your game leader for the night was LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge put up 30 points. Marcus Aldridge finally shows up. Finally showed. Made all of his free throws. 14 for 14 from the free throw line. Nobody asked him a single question at the post game interview. He sat down and there was silence. Not a single question. You're with the San Antonio Spurs when you're on their writing when you write for the team, you want to give a quote from one of the star players, especially when their coach is gone due to, some illness. And by the way, I know not a lot of people watch this just because we're getting started right now, but I still want to send shout outs and prayers out. Greg Popovich, I'm definitely my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. I definitely hope that you get well soon. Basketball is missing a very, very important person right now. I was gonna say somewhere along the lines of a father, grandfather, because you are pretty much that type of person to the NBA. You're one of the most highly superior people in the NBA. You're one of the most looked up to, for sure, when it comes to coaches. So we definitely hope that you are going to get well soon, and hope that you're healthy. And if you don't come back to coaching, I don't blame you, man. But if you do, we're all going to be in debt to you. Everybody in the basketball world, everybody in the hooper world is going to be in debt to you, man. So prayers go out. So now to just touch quickly on the game, LaMarcus scored 30. Kevin Durant was the dagger boy, 25 points, and he made some big shots late. Draymond was a little more aggressive last night, but that's just because MVP Steph Curry's gone with his knee injury, of course. But Durant scored 25, and Green led them in defense, like all defensive stats. and the Spurs got a late charge, but it still wasn't enough. I knew this game was over. They were in Golden State, Game 5, close out. Close out at home, easy. Shout out to Patty Mills. I know Patty Mills scored 18 points. And he made 4 threes. I know San Antonio was pretty cold shooting last night, so way to try to get the energy going there, man. Manu, I don't know if he finished his last game last night as a Spur, but he recorded 10 points as well. So the Golden State Warriors, they're going on to play the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm going to get into that a little later. Not today, but later on in the week. The main question of that series is going to be, do the Warriors have somebody that can stop Anthony Davis? Are you okay with putting Kevin Durant on Anthony Davis? That's the only body I can think of. Draymond could probably do it. I don't know. But we'll see. I'm going to take a look into the matchups that they had this season. I know the Pelicans have the advantage. I think they took the series against the Warriors this season 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a totally different story in a 7-game series when you play each other 7 games straight. It's a totally different story. So moving on. Those damn Sixers. Those damn Sixers, man. Those Sixers pulled a fast one on us last night. Those Sixers. All right, so last night, I'm sorry for anybody that watched, and I had somebody that was asking about betting on this game. Now, if I knew, because when we did my segment yesterday, I'm just so dumbfounded by this for myself. When I did my segment yesterday, it was literally, I'd say the second I hit the end stream button, I think maybe 20, 35 minutes later when I was driving to the gym to hoop. Not poop, hoop, H-O-O-P. But when I got to the gym and pulled out my phone to plug my headphones in, I saw the news. Meek Mill was released from prison. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Philadelphia 76ers, their lawyers finally got their shit together. Sorry, this is a PG-13 rated segment now. I am still working on it. I'm going to work on the language. Sorry, ESPN. But oh my God, Meek Mill, the lawyers of Philly, the Sixers, the Eagles, they worked together and they got the Supreme Court to release him, to give him a fair trial. And what did they do the second that he got released? They got his butt to Philly Stadium as soon as possible. They got him to Wells Fargo as soon as possible to ring that Liberty Bell. The second he rang that Liberty Bell, it was over. And it wasn't just going to be a 106-104, a 106-103, a 107-102 win. No. I knew at that point it was going to be a 20-point blowout. But it wasn't. It wasn't. It was only about a 10-point game. But I am sorry because I said that if the line was the Miami Heat, if the Miami Heat were to lose by 6 or less, I would have taken that bet. But with Meek Mill showing up, this is why I need my own studio at the ESPN Center, because I can just kick it right back on and just say, hey, guys, remember what I said? Meek Mill is on his way to ring the Liberty Bell. Cancel your bets before that freaking tip-off happens. But, yeah, I didn't know Meek Mill would show up in time to ring the bell. It was an absolute momentum shift for sure. These young guys, they're already highly motivated, and it just gave them an extra push. It was insane what those guys did. Ben Simmons, great game. Joel Embiid, great game. JJ Redick, great game. Covington, great on the defensive side, both ends of the floor. This started as a back-and-forth game for the first half. And then it all ended on a technical foul by Goran Dragic. It looked intentional to me. Goran Dragic smacked Ben Simmons on the side of the head, or the back of the head. Got called a technical. Just from the looks of it, it did look intentional. I'm sorry, Goran. You don't just swing your hand like that to try and make a defensive play. The ball's down on the ground to the waistline, maybe up to the chest at the highest part, depending on where they're dribbling at. They're never dribbling as high as here. So there's no reason to try and swat the ball right there. No reason. So he got a technical, and that was a huge momentum shift. Again, got the crowd going. It was a pretty chippy game. I know James Johnson got underneath Ben Simmons. Goran Dragic smacking him on the side of the head. It got the crowd fired up. It got the players fired up. They didn't like that. The Sixers had something to say about it. And the Sixers just kept going on these little runs. They didn't go on a big run, but they just went on enough little runs to just dominate the game. JJ Redick finished with 27 points to lead the squad. He killed it from the three-point line. Joel Embiid, he posted up 19 points, 12 boards. Ben Simmons finished with 14 points, 10 boards, and 6 assists. Those two guys are just that dynamic duo. They're probably going to be the new beasts of the East once their playoff journey is over, if it even ends. Maybe it's going to end to the NBA Finals. Who knows? But that's it for them. All around great ball movement by the Sixers, honestly. I watched that game. The ball movement was spectacular. I love when Ben Simmons takes the ball up the floor. Runs the point guard position. He runs it efficiently. He's a big body. If he wants to get something done himself and get to the rim, he can. Not a lot of point guards can do that. Pretty much Russell Westbrook can just because of his pure athleticism. But nobody just has the strength to drive like that at the point guard position. So good stuff, Ben Simmons. I'm not a fan of the Sixers, but I am a fan of good basketball. And that was some really good basketball that was played last night, for sure. They are awaiting the finisher of the Celtics and the Bucks. Again, I think the Celtics might take that series. Like I said, these injuries make me feel otherwise. They really do. The injuries make me feel otherwise. But then again, every time I doubt Brad Stevens as a coach, he prevails always. So they're waiting for that one. I think they're going to face the Celtics. Just to be real, I'm a huge fan of Greek Freak. I want Greek Freak to succeed. So sometimes that emotion carries into my segments. Realistically speaking, I think the Celtics will take it. And if they do, that's even better for the Sixers. The Sixers don't have to deal with somebody like Greek Freak. You have the best player on usually the team with the best player on the floor wins. Right now, that's not the case in Milwaukee. Because obviously, Greek Freak is the best player on the floor. So you don't want to deal with Greek Freak. Even though they're playing the way they are, you still don't want to deal with them. It takes one game to click. It takes one momentum shift to click. It takes one film session to figure it out. So you don't want Greek Freak. You don't want him. You want Boston. You want the hurt Boston. You want injured Boston. Even for as well as they play, even for as well as they're coached, you still want them. Their bigs in Philly match up very, very nicely to the point where they could honestly just sweep those Celtics easily. I don't think they will, just because Brad Stevens won't let that happen. Now, just going back to this series, my biggest problem in this Miami Sixers series, there was one thing that let me down. Just one thing that let me down about the series, and that was Hassan Whiteside for the Miami Heat. Hassan Whiteside gets paid pretty much the same amount of money that Anthony Davis gets paid. Now, I know that they didn't really give him a fighting chance. I know that they only had him on the floor for about 10 minutes or so, and then after him scoring just a couple of points and kind of getting stuffed on the defensive end, they called someone else's number. And did they do it too soon? My personal opinion, yes, but I'm not a coach. Coach that coach probably, Spoelstra probably saw something that I didn't see. So, I'm not gonna question that. But what I am gonna question is 10 minutes on a 22 million plus per season player that apparently gets the edge on Joel Embiid. You don't play him. And the thing is like back when Kobe was in LA, back when Kobe was playing, he would miss shots. He'd go in 10 minutes and go 0 for 6. And he'd stop shooting. He'd stop shooting it. And Phil would come out and say, like, hey, shoot that ball. Shoot it. You'll get into a rhythm soon. Whiteside just needed to get into a rhythm. And he didn't get a chance to get into a rhythm at all through that whole series. I think he averaged maybe 5 points a game or so. 2 of those games without Joel Embiid, too. His greatest weakness, in my opinion. He has no weakness. Joel Embiid is like the closest thing to a weakness for him. He was gone for 2 games and he still couldn't put out, man. But it's okay. It's okay. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about with this Miami Heat team. So Dwayne Wade announced that he wasn't going to be making any sort of announcements in Philly. As special as the night was with Meek Mill coming, special as everything was hanging out with Kevin Hart, and as emotional as the game is, and as much as he loves Philly, there was no announcements that were going to be made that night in Philly, regardless if his mind was made up or not. He's going to talk with his wife, and they're going to reassess their situation. Can he play? Yeah, for sure. Dwayne Wade is the all-time leader in 20-plus point games, free throws, rebounds, assists for the Miami Heat in playoff franchise history. He's 36, I think, 35, 36. But he showed throughout the season that he could play another year, maybe 2. I'll say 1. I think he's got 1 more in him. But the Heat, he just couldn't be the hero in the second half of every game. He played really well in the second half of every game. He actually contributed to comebacks. But the Heat were just outscored in the second half. If the Miami Heat were able to play complete games all the way through the series, they would have won the series. They would have probably, no, not swept. There's nothing they could have done about game 1. Nothing could have been done about game 1. They would have won this in 5, though. Sure as hell would have won this in 5. It would have gentlemen swept them. We'll let you win 1, and I'm going to freaking sweep you. But the second half killed the Heat. The Heat were outscored in the second half by 78 points over the course of this 5-game series. Over the course of this 5-game series, second half points, they were outscored by 78 points. Now, I saw that number, and that was a big calculation. But 78 points in that 5-game series, it's 15 points. It's like 15 and a half points a game. You were on, if you just want to split it upon the averages, you were outscored by 15 points a game in the second half. That is uncalled for. Uncalled for. So, again, Miami Heat losing it mainly because of second half mistakes. Not scoring in the second half, not keeping up in the second half. Again, outscored by 78 points in the second half throughout a 5-game series. You will lose. I'm surprised they didn't get swept. They had a really awesome game too. And that was pretty much it. Dwayne Wade was a hero, and that's all there was to it. There was nobody else. This playoff series is like the series of no help. This is why Milwaukee. With Milwaukee, it's like you got Middleton and Greek Freak. Who else is going to score? Bledsoe's not showing up. Brogdon's not showing up. On the end of Miami, like I said, Hassan Whiteside getting paid over $22 million a year and played 10 minutes last night. Averaged, I think, 5 or 6 points a game through this 5-game series. And again, 2 of those games without Joel Embiid. I have to reiterate that again. Your biggest weakness, not even a weakness, just something that challenges you. wasn't on the floor. That's your opportunity to put up 30. That's your opportunity to just own the post, and you just didn't. You didn't. So that's all there is today about what happened last night in the NBA. We're gonna get into what's going on tonight in the NBA. We do got some big games going on tonight. The first game that's going on is gonna be the Pacers and Cavs. So now the Pacers are looking to take aim at the Cleveland Cavaliers by putting the pressure back on them. The pressure was on them on Sunday on a 2-1, and they came back. Thank you, Kyle Korver. Mainly because Kyle Korver is one of the best catch and shooters still on the planet. And he's proved that in his 10 plus years in the league. So good job, Kyle Korver, on Sunday for carrying some weight and helping out LeBron. They didn't go down 3-1 because of that. Thank you. So now we got Kevin Love, LeBron James, J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver. Those four guys need to be the top contributors. I'm not going to be expecting a lot from Tristan. Just with what he's going through emotionally and what these crowds are giving him and stuff, especially his home crowd. How do you expect a man to play through that? I know it's hard to ignore. I know it's ignore the noise and all this stuff, but when your home crowd is getting you, that's difficult because you let your guard down in your home crowd. There's speculations right now that the King is tired. He is running a lot of slow plays as of late. About 75% of the plays that they've been making over the course of the playoffs, his transition has been rather slow. 75%. As far as like speed. So slow speed, medium speed, and then his sprint speed. About 8% of his plays, he's sprinting up the court. Running up the court. Now, I don't think fatigue is going to be too much for LeBron in tonight's game. I think LeBron is just minimizing his contributions. That's all he's doing. He's minimizing his contributions to save himself. Because when you saw him in that very first series against Golden State 3 years ago, he was tired. He was beat up. But he's not trying to do that to his body again. He wants to save himself for the finals. But I mean, with how the Sixers are playing and stuff, you got to just put 100% of your body out there, man, and just recover the best way you can. But Indiana, they got a chance to win. Victor Oladipo is no scrub. They got a franchise cornerstone there in Indiana now. The Pacers, they trailed by 17 points at the half in Game 3 and steamrolled the Cavs in the second half and pulled out to win 92-90. I mean, that was proof. That's proof that Indiana can win this series. It's proof that Indiana can win the series. Indiana won Game 1 behind a 32-point showout by Victor Oladipo. It was a blowout too. People, Sabonis scoring off the bench. LeBron doesn't have a lot of bench help. Jordan Clarkson, man. I don't even know what to say about you and your boy Larry. My Lakers, you guys need to show how hungry you guys are. You guys have played for this Lakers organization for a few years now. You guys should know what that culture is like. You should have taken that culture to Cleveland, man. You guys aren't showing out in the playoffs. I know it's your guys' first trip and all. You guys are playing with LeBron. Those feelings are probably in your gut, yeah. But you got to get rid of them. And you got to score. Jordan Clarkson, these pull-up threes that I'm seeing from you, they're not even close, man. They're not even close. And we just need a little bit more contribution from these bench players. I know J.R. Smith got it started early on Sunday. He started jacking up threes early. That's good. I personally like when J.R. Smith gets the ball when J.R. Smith has the ball in his hands early in the game and starts taking threes. I hate when we wait, until the second quarter, third quarter, and he takes his first three. No. J.R. Smith is a way, 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 way better. not even version of Nick Young. Nick Young is a way worse, way worse version of J.R. Smith. Here's how these two players work, in my opinion, how I see these players. J.R. Smith is starter worthy just because of his perimeter defending. And his perimeter defending alone can be a standalone case of why he deserves a starting position. But the two things, or these two players, Nick Young and J.R. Smith, this is how you run these players. You get the ball in their hands early. Give it to him in the first quarter. Give it to him in the first couple minutes of the game. Let him take a couple threes. Let him take 2 threes. If he makes 1, if he makes 2, keep giving him the ball. If he misses both, slow it down a little bit. Because those guys are hot, cold shooters. If they're hot, they're going to go for 36 if you let them shoot. We saw that in the very, very first game of the regular season when Nick Young put up 36 points or 39 points, whatever it was. It's just because he got into a rhythm. Steve Kerr saw it and was like, yo, Swaggy P, here you go. There's the ball. Just keep shooting. Keep shooting until you get cold. And sometimes they just don't get cold. So I think J.R. Smith needs to take some threes a little earlier, or just more often, because he did take threes early in the game on Sunday. So, but yeah, I think that's going to be the main key to the game. Contribution from the bench, J.R. Smith getting his 3 balls in. LeBron's hustle. Do need LeBron to just hustle a little more. I know he's old. I know he's getting a little tired out there and stuff. He's doing a lot of work. Touches the ball pretty much every possession. And yeah, so I know he can't do it all on his own. We all know that he can't do it all on his own. George Hill is questionable tonight for Game 5 with back spasms. He did miss Game 4 with the same injury. He did get some injections before the game, but still were not enough to ease the pain to the point where he could play. So I don't know if he's playing tonight. He's still questionable. That means that Jose Calderon is going to get the start, which I'm not a fan. I don't know why this guy got signed. He only scored 5 points in 19 minutes. I mean, that's better than what Delly did for the Bucks. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I honestly see the Cavs winning this. I don't see the Cavs going down 3-2. I see the Cavs going up 3-2. I do see this series going to 7 games if possible. But I don't think Indy's going to take a 3-2 lead. If they do, it's over. I don't think Cleveland's going to be able to come back from this. You can only get beat up enough. You can only get beat up so many times as a solo superstar, to the point where you're just like, well, if my team's not on board, then what am I going to do? So, moving on to the next game. The next game, we got the Toronto Raptors playing the Washington Wizards. So, home court advantage was defended. Both teams defended their home courts, winning 2 games apiece. They traded 2 games in Toronto, 2 games in Washington. Both home teams won. So now it's just a best of 3 series. And we're going to be going into a really, really, really emotional game in Toronto. I know in Toronto there was the Humboldt accident, which if anybody is watching in Canada, my thoughts and prayers are also with you guys in Humboldt and the hockey team. Hockey is and will always forever be my first love. And yeah, I definitely am praying for you guys down there or up there in Humboldt, since I'm down south here in Phoenix. And I know there was I forget what happened. It was a couple, or like 3 or 4 days ago, the bus crash. There was another crash or another fatality that happened that shocked the citizens of Toronto. So I know just with all of these tragedies that have been going on in Canada, it's going to be a very emotional game tonight, especially with Drake in the house. The Toronto Raptors, I think, are going to pull away with the win. The pressure is honestly on them, though. They're the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They're hosting the number 8 seed, so you expect the 1 seed to always make it out of that. That's why the 1 seed plays the 8. You deserve to be in the finals, but you got to still prove yourself in the playoffs. We honestly find out who teams are, who they really are in the playoffs. Once you play the same team for a possible 7 games straight, That's when you can actually know your real identity. How can you adjust? How can you figure things out? What do you do when you get figured out? Those are the things that you got to think of when you play the same team every day. So I don't know if the Wizards aren't going to fold, because this is the thing about the Wizards. The one thing that I don't like about the Wizards is this backcourt. They're that's probably arguably the best backcourt in basketball. Bradley Beal, John Wall. Bradley Beal, John Wall. Probably the best backcourt in basketball. Second best backcourt in basketball. I don't know. They're definitely a top 3 backcourt, for sure. The fact that they have no help either is insane. And John Wall, I know John Wall tries to push the ball up the floor a little too fast, maybe a little too much. I think John Wall needs to slow it down just a little bit, because he plays a little too fast for his teammates, and you've seen it. You've seen that proof with Martin Gortat. Specifically, not being on the same page for plays and stuff like that. So, I honestly think the Raptors will pull away with it still. I mean, Washington dropped the first 2 games in Toronto, and they were some pretty ugly losses. Some big momentum swings. The crowd was heavily involved with it. Toronto knows how to use their bench. They use their bench very, very, very efficiently. DeMar DeRozan, I still have not found an answer for DeMar DeRozan for the Washington Wizards. John Wall is probably the best option to guard DeMar DeRozan, but DeMar DeRozan still will put up 35 points. Just like he did Sunday, I think he put up 35, 6, and 6 Sunday. But also committed a few turnovers, but that's okay. Russ averages like 5. He averages like 7 or so. 5 to 7. So you're good. You're good, DeMar. Plus you're a USC boy, so fight on, baby. Fight on. All right, sorry. Moving on to productive things instead of me being a crazy person. Quote from DeMar DeRozan: I blame myself for a lot of mistakes, for a lot of forced shots late in the game. Mental mistakes, turnovers, late game execution, stabbing in the backcourt, and transition late in the game, a lot of things. So he knows what he has to work on, but I think he's going to have that tweaked out once they get back on the floor tonight. And that's pretty much it for the Wizards, Raptors. I know the Raptors do have some shot blocking issues. I know Serge Ibaka has not really been put in his end of the contribution deal, to where he should be, but I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll be fine as well. The Wizards, meanwhile, they've been dealing with adversity all season. I mean, John Wall was out. He was limited to, I think, 41 starts or so. Sprained his left shoulder, he had surgery on his left knee. So, they're still getting stuff together, which is another reason why I think they're probably going to lose the series. So, that's pretty much it for them. Now, the next game after that one, this is probably one of the most confusing series for me right now, is the Utah Jazz taking on Oklahoma City Thunder. Utah Jazz are up 3-1. Utah Jazz can close this out tonight. Now, the game... Donovan Mitchell is just killing it. But Oklahoma City was built this offseason around 3 All-Stars. With Western Conference Championship expectations, like NBA Finals expectations. Now, the Utah Jazz started the year before Rudy Gobert came back. I think they were 18-26. They had a crap record. But when Rudy Gobert came back, oh my God, did Donovan Mitchell probably find one of his most favorite toys in basketball. That guy's good. And he's a rim protector. I love rim protectors. No pun intended. But yeah, when he returned, they started, I think it was like an 11-game win streak or something like that. And they took a surprise. And with all of these wins, it started to get the attention for Donovan Mitchell for Rookie of the Year, which is still my vote. We already talked about this in one of my segments. Donovan Mitchell is the Rookie of the Year. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a shit. We're already at PG-13, so I can just say it as many times as I want now. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Just Ben Simmons, like, really? He's a second-year player. I don't care. It's like the Blake Griffin thing. He was a second-year player. And even if Ben Simmons was a first-year player, the fact that he was third or fourth on the list in triple-doubles, so 10 points, 10 assists, you're a point guard. You're a big point guard. You're a 6'10" point guard that's over 200 pounds, man. Or not 6'10". I have no idea how tall I don't think he's 6'10", though. He's got to be like 6'8", 6'7". He's big. He's over 200 pounds. I know that. And as a point guard, you bet your butt you better get 10 points a game as a point guard. You bet your butt you better get at least 7 assists as a point guard. Now, when you have a body like that, of course, you're going to get your 10 boards. Joel Embiid's not going to be playing. Is not going to be on the floor as much as you. Who else? What other big man's going to go up and get those rebounds when he's on the floor? So I just think I think Ben Simmons had a lot more help to go with his Rookie of the Year campaign, whereas Donovan Mitchell was given the ball as the number one option, and he's thrived. Averaged over 20 points a game in this regular season, and he's a top 5 points per game average right now in the playoffs. I know he's only got 4 games under his belt. I know. But it's a rookie. It's a first-year NBA player. Like, this doesn't happen every year. We don't have a rookie that gets into the playoffs every year and drops 30 on a team of 3 All-Stars. One of those All-Stars averaging a triple-double for 2 straight seasons. Now, I know there's the speculations of Russell Westbrook being a stat stuffer. I don't think so. I think he's just ultra competitive and he just wants to fill up the stat sheet because he can. He's that athletic. He's got that many aspects to his game. You know, if I could go in for rebounds like crazy like that too, knowing that I could out-rebound somebody that's 8 inches taller than me, I probably would. I'd probably pack my stats too. He's a point guard, so he has to get his assists. And every point guard these days is a scorer. So, you know, we're going to start having more of these triple-double point guards in the next few years. Just wait. The difference maker right now in this series is honestly Ricky Rubio. Ricky, I don't know what to say about you, my brother, but that's all I got to say, man. Like, that's literally it. Like, Ricky, you averaged 10 points a game, 12 points a game at best in the regular season. You're posting up almost 20 points a game right now. Donovan Mitchell's averaging 27 and a half. He's averaging 7 points more than his season average. He's turning it up. He's going up there with MJ. And like I said, I know he's a rookie. I know it's his first year. I know it's 4 games. I know. But still, what rookie has been able to do that that's been able to make it to the playoffs? Not a lot. Not a lot of rookies have been able to do that. Magic, but that was a way different era. Not every single basketball player was pure athleticism back then. The athleticism that we have now in this era is ridiculous. So the fact that a rookie is doing that now is great. It's spectacular. It's superb. I know Westbrook's upset about it. I mean, we clearly saw it a couple days ago. Westbrook came out looking like a freaking football player. You can have that football player mentality on offense. You can attack, and be physical on offense. But you cannot do that on defense. You can if you can harness it. If you can harness it the right way. Definitely. but you didn't harness it. You let Ricky Rubio just stop in the middle of you. You ran him over. You just gave him a free foul. Like, it's insane. And I know Donovan Mitchell's got some things to say too. I know he's saying things like it's super surreal what he's doing and all of this. Didn't have anything to say about Russell Westbrook getting fined the $10,000 for the altercation with Gobert late in the game for Game 4. But he wasn't suspended. Do I think he's going to cool it down? Absolutely. Who's going to win this game? Skeleton Booty, if you're watching this, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry, man. But your OKC Thunder are going down tonight. I hate to say it. And I have nobody to blame other than Carmelo Anthony. I hate to say that. Carmelo is one of my favorite players. I love Melo. I'm so happy that he's out of New York finally. I don't know why he went to New York. I was so upset when he went to New York. I was like, he's not going to win a championship, regardless of what team they put together. Because that is a very dysfunctional front office. Very dysfunctional. And winning in Utah is not easy. It's not. Winning in Utah is one of the hardest things to do this season. Not only they have to do it once, they have to do it twice. You have to win 2 straight games in Utah. And also you got to win your home game, which they stole one from you at home. So what are you going to do? I honestly don't know what the OKC's answer is. I would say that my answer would be to not play Carmelo. But it's just a dumb idea. It's a dumb idea. I don't even know why I said it. Regardless of how bad Carmelo Anthony shoots, you do want him on the floor. Because he can get hot. But when? When is he going to get hot? He shot 0 for 6 from 3 the other night. Only put up 11 points. They got to let him put the hood on. That's it. Hoodie Melo's got to show up. The hooded villain, Carmelo Anthony, needs to show up and drop 30 tonight. If he can drop 30, Paul George is already going to get you 25. We've already seen that. Playoff P, Paul George is going to get you your 25 points. Hands down, he's going to get you your 25. I have nothing to say about him besides he's playing well. He's playing pretty well. He's missing a couple of bad defensive plays, but I mean everybody gets torched once every couple of games, so not everybody plays a perfect game. And then Russ, just calm down. When your point guard is off his game, when your point guard has a temper problem, it's not even a temper problem. When your point guard is just doing the things that Russ is doing, it ruins everything with the team. The whole team just ruined. So, the big three need to combine for the OK three need to combine for at least 75 points tonight if they want to win. Actually, 80. They need 80 points tonight as a unit. No, we'll just go 70. 70 points. If y'all can put up 70 and lose, I'll be confused. That was a rhyme. I'll rhyme here and there from time to time. Just not when I'm watching these NBA players drop dimes. I like my Sprite flavored with lemon and limes. All right, sorry. This isn't a rap hour. This is a sports hour. I'm sorry. Last but not least, we got our final game. I'm sorry. My attention span is just going down the drain right now. Last game of the night. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves going up against these red-hot Houston Rockets. Not really a lot to say about this game besides In these 4 games, Jimmy Butler has only scored 20 points or more once. Once. I will repeat that. No one heard that. Jimmy Butler has only scored 20 points or more in a game once this season. Once. Jimmy Buckets. I need you, brother. This was a team that had Houston's number in the regular season. This was a team that we were looking at in the eighth seed battle with Denver, and we're like, oh my gosh, if Minnesota actually gets this 8th seed against Houston, Houston might have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. But no, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Mike D'Antoni just was like, hey, we're going to not practice for 2 days and we're going to just watch film on these boys. I mean, that's like one of the only explanations that I can think of. If I was a coach, if I got beat up like that in the regular season and we had to meet in the playoffs, I'm like, all right, this is their game plan. This has been their game plan. Let's watch their game plan. They're most likely going to have the same one. And I just do film, 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 and film. That's like the only thing that pops into my head for that. But I honestly think Houston's going to pull away with the win. James Harden averaged 30 points a game for the regular season. Spectacular, dude. Spectacular, dude. ASU alumni. I live in Arizona, so gotta appreciate the home love. I am from LA though too. Well, they're both my homes. I've been here for almost 10 years. Been here for almost 15 years now. Arizona's my adopted city. Or state. Phoenix is my adopted city. I don't know geography. That was rude. Triggered! All right. So we're about 52 minutes in. Again, I don't really have a lot to touch on with the Rockets Wolves. The Rockets have been red hot. They scored 50 points in the third quarter in game 4. I think they're going to close the game out, honestly. It's in Houston. I don't see anybody beating these Rockets. All right, so moving on. Last but not least, so I got some time for the draft, I guess. We got some time here. Let me go ahead and get the my draft order pulled up here. So give me 1 second. I should have just had it pulled up to begin with. I'm sorry. This is my 3rd segment ever, and I know I'm getting a little better, but I'm not at the same time. If that makes any sense to any of you guys. So just while I'm looking for my draft order that I made last night, this is a quarterback-friendly draft. Lots of quarterbacks. It's the quarterback domino effect that's going on, what we got going on right now. I think this is the one. Yeah, okay, cool. I made a few of them. So, we got a lot of talent coming out of college football this year. I'm a big fan of it. Saquon Barkley, Bradley Chubb, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Denzel Ward, Baker Magic, Mayfield, Tremaine Edmonds, who else? Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame, Derwin James, I think I already said his name. Roquan Smith, Josh Rosen, I forgot about him too. So here's what I got. So the first overall pick, we have the Cleveland Browns. I'm not 100% sure on these trades. They're saying that the Cardinals are going to be able to trade into a top 5 pick. And if they do, I don't know how that's going to work. So we're going to just go with the draft order that we have right now, because the draft is tomorrow. The first overall pick belongs to the Cleveland Browns. Now, everybody is saying Sam Darnold. I know all the guys at ESPN are saying Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield. Take one of these quarterbacks. No. No. You don't take one of these quarterbacks. What you do is you take Saquon Barkley at the first overall pick. There's 4 quarterbacks, 5 quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks that can easily go in the top 10. 2 of these, 2 quarterbacks have the same body type. Tall, lanky, pocket passer, accurate. Josh Rosen, Josh Allen. And then you got Sam Darnold, who's a smaller pocket passer, short-term memory guy. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but when he does, he forgets very easily. And you got Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, just absolute competitor. Great, great competitor. So, your first overall pick, with those quarterbacks, with having the option of all of those quarterbacks, all of them being good options, honestly, I think you're guaranteed going to have the option to pick from 2. If the Giants and the Jets both take quarterbacks, you got 2 to choose from still. But when the Giants take Saquon Barkley, where are you at for running back? Who are you going to take for running back? I don't, there's not another great running back. There's Darius Juice from LSU. That's pretty much it. But you'd much rather want Saquon. Like, when you're talking about who you'd rather have on your team, it's like, oh yeah, hands down. Which running back? Oh, hands down, Saquon. Which quarterback though? I need 4 hands, but it's just like, So Saquon Barkley, first overall pick. That's my number 1. Second overall pick belongs to the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants, they invested a lot of money in their defense, and they apparently just had all these holes in the defense. Eli Apple not playing up to par. JPP, I believe, is gone. So there's a lot of holes on the. Excuse me. There's a lot of holes on the defensive side right now for the Giants. Now, I think the Giants will take Bradley Chubb. Now, if, let's say, for example, that I was wrong and the Browns take Sam Darnold or just a quarterback, the Giants are hands down going to take Saquon Barkley. The Giants aren't as dumb as whoever is in charge for the Browns. And here's another thing. Like, you have failed how many times with the first overall pick at quarterback? Give it a break. Just don't even try it. Take the pressure off the first overall pick. Take the best player available, which is Saquon. And then get a quarterback at your 4th pick. So, number 1, Saquon. Number 2, Bradley Chubb. Defensive end, NC State. They need to fill up some holes. What better way to just get an elite pass rusher? Right off the bat. Now the Jets. Jets are taking a quarterback, for sure. I honestly think Baker Mayfield will be the first quarterback taken in the draft if the pick falls to the Jets to take a quarterback. If the Jets are the first team to take a quarterback out of the draft, I am pretty sure they're going to take Baker Mayfield. Why? A couple of reasons. He's a Broadway boy. I mean, I definitely think he's a Broadway boy for sure. His personality, I think, fits very, very, very well with that team. Very, very competitive. I think he has the energy to get a team like that fired up. So I think Baker Mayfield is going to go 3rd, which will make me say Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold will probably still get drafted by the Cleveland Browns at number 4. I like the pick just because Sam Darnold is good, but I am a huge USC fan, and I just hate to see my boy die in Cleveland. As much as I have nothing against Cleveland, it's just what their track record has proven to be like. That's pretty much it. They don't get a lot of wins. They're not smart in the draft. They're not smart when they put their draft picks together on the field. It's just, I don't know. But we're starting to get into the pool of quarterbacks here. So at number 5, the 5th overall pick. This is probably where the Cardinals will come in. The 5th overall pick belongs to the Denver Broncos. I think the Cardinals, if they were to draft or to trade for a pick, I think it would be this one. Who would they take? I have no idea. Probably a quarterback just to secure Sam Bradford, just to secure another option, because he didn't play the whole season in Minnesota last year. So, you definitely want to take that into consideration, which I don't blame them. But we're going to stick with it being just the normal draft order that it is right now. So number 5, I am going to say that the Denver Broncos are going to take Josh Allen. They had a quarterback battle last year, kind of went back and forth between the two. I think they're going to revamp the quarterback position. They really don't need anything on defense. They didn't show that they had a lot of holes on defense. Von Miller is the defensive captain on that side. He's keeping that team, those 11 guys, strong. So I think everything is good on that. Now, number 6. The number 6 overall pick belongs to the Indianapolis Colts. There are a couple of speculations here. One is Andrew Luck and his shoulder, the shoulder surgery that he got, saying that we don't know if he's going to play again and all this stuff. I'm not 100% on that. If Irsay wants to throw away a really good draft pick, take a quarterback. Because the free agent market, I mean, you can get a quarterback in the free agent market. Being an Indy, though, it is a little bit of a harder task. So I would understand if Irsay did take a quarterback here, but in my opinion, it is waste of a pick because I think Andrew Luck is going to be fine. I think he's going to be just fine. So the Colts should actually take Denzel Ward, the corner out of Ohio State. Denzel Ward had a great year. He's probably he's a defensive player, conference defensive player of the year, and the Colts just had so many holes on offense last year. You saw it in these blowouts with Houston. They just got blown out numerous times. So mainly because of receiving touchdowns. So let's get Denzel. If you get Denzel Ward in, that's an immediate impact player. That's one of my immediate impact players. Now with the 7th overall pick, my buddy Mojo. I hope he's listening. I hope he watches these on my YouTube channel. But the number 7th overall pick belongs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now the Bucs, they were supposed to have a good year. They were supposed to make the playoffs. That's what their expectations were as a team. They're realistic expectations, I should say, because everybody expects to make the playoffs. But your realistic expectations based off of what you did last year, your additions that you made in the offseason, everybody knows. Everybody knows the truth, but you put the truth away if you are for sure not a playoff team. But I think what ruined the Bucs last year was the inability to protect Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston has been came close to setting a couple of records. He almost broke Cam Newton's record of most passing yards in a season by a rookie. Really close to doing it. I think they're going to take Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame. Big guy, Probably one of the best pass protectors in college football. Probably the number one pass protector in college football, to say the least. I think that'll be a really good addition. That'll give Shepard the corner, or not. Oh my God, what's his name? Howard. C.J. Howard. I'm not 100% on that. The corner out of Bama that they drafted. It's gonna give him more of an opportunity to get his routes instead of tighten up with the O-line and protect Jameis. I think Quentin will be doubling up people, honestly. Now with the 8th overall pick, the Chicago Bears. I think the Chicago Bears are going to get a new Brian Urlacher back. They were a little short on defense last year. They got their quarterback. They got a receiver. They have offensive pieces. They've been drafting offensive pieces for a little while, so I think they're going to be drafting a defensive pick. And I think that's going to be Tremaine Edmunds, the linebacker from Virginia Tech. I think they're trying to find the replacement for Brian Urlacher. I think this is one of the guys to do it, honestly. He could be a franchise cornerstone player. So yeah, I definitely think that's a pretty good pick for them. And then my last two picks. So number 9, San Francisco 49ers. Sorry, I was thinking baseball. San Francisco 49ers. They need linebackers as well. I know that they got a pass rusher in the draft, lineman in the draft last year. They took a gamble on a quarterback, and it worked out perfectly for them. Richard Sherman is showing up. I think they're going to add some more firepower to this defense, honestly. And I think they're going to take Roquan Smith out of Georgia. Roquan Smith was a dominant linebacker in the SEC. I think that's a really good fit for them. And if they want to take a defensive pick, they're going to be one of the toughest teams to stop. Now, the number 10 pick, I'm actually going to go to 15. We'll go all the way to 15. Because we got enough time. I was going to do the 10, but we got enough time to do the 15. So at number 10, we got the Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders, they drafted Gilmore, whatever. Gilmore. Or no. Oh my God, I forget his name. The one that got in trouble. They drafted a defensive player last year. Hold on, I can just find it out. Conley? Was it Conley? This is why I should put all of my notes together at once. Yeah, Garyon Conley. That's his name. Garyon Conley, cornerback, Ohio State. He was in a little bit of trouble. They didn't know if he was going to actually have a playing career just because of some lawsuits, some charges that were filed against him that were deemed unworthy. But I think they should stack up the defensive picks. I mean, Amari Cooper's good. You really don't have a running back. They could take a running back. They could take Juice if they really wanted to. But I think beast mode is enough for them. And I think their offense is perfect, in my opinion. So I think they're going to go defense. I think they're going to take Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick could have arguably been one of the top 3 picks in this draft. But just with his poor combine show out and just like some bad interviews, I would say, to say the least, his draft worthiness has come down just a little bit. So just a little bit there. Now at number 11, there is the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, they lost Ndamukong Suh, their defensive tackle. So I think they might need another one. Honestly, I honestly think when you lose a player like that, yes, I guess it's great for the locker room, but you still need that defensive presence on the field. So I think they're going to take Vita Vea from Washington. Vita Vea had a pretty solid year in the Pac-12. I know that from just some experience of watching the Pac-12 since I live in the Pac-12 conference. He was pretty good, which leads me to my next pick at number 12. We're going to stay in the Pac-12. So number 12, the pick belongs to the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills did release Tyrod Taylor. They got rid of Tyrod Taylor. That's no longer their quarterback anymore. So they need a quarterback. And I haven't even taken Josh Rosen off my board. We're at pick number 12. And I got Josh Allen gone. I got Sam Darnold gone. Baker Mayfield gone. And here goes Josh Rosen. So I got my 4 quarterbacks going, and I got 4 quarterbacks going in 12 picks. Josh Rosen is a really, really good fit for the Buffalo Bills. He's just a really poised pocket passer, has a really great comeback mentality. I love his mentality coming into the NFL. He's willing to just be the water boy for a whole season. He's going to be the best water boy of all time, or he's going to start chasing Super Bowls. He has a great mentality, a great winning mentality. I'm pretty sure he has the same mentality that Jared Goff had. Let's just hope that he doesn't have the first year that Jared Goff had. Jared Goff had a rough year just because of Coach Jeff Fisher. Some pieces that were just not put together the right way. Low energy in the locker room. So I definitely think as long as those things don't happen to him, he's just going to start off with how Jared Goff started his second year. Just pretty good. And he'll turn into a great player. He'll turn into a great quarterback down the road. Next is the 13th overall pick. So the 13th overall pick belongs to the Washington Redskins, who are still not going to change their name. I love it. Don't change the name. Who cares? We didn't care in the 90s. We didn't care in the 80s. Stop it, millennials. I'm a millennial. I'm 26 years old. I like the Redskins name. It doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. So I think the sensitivity levels for some things should go down. Yes, you can be overly sensitive about other matters that are a lot more sensitive than a football team's name. It's not offensive. It's not offensive. I'll show you some offensive businesses. We'll do another segment on that if you want. Just kidding. I don't want to stir that up. But anyways, my 13th overall pick is going to go to Darius Juice, honestly. I didn't have a pick for Juice. I said maybe, just maybe go to whatchamacallit? The Raiders, maybe. But like I said, with beast mode there, pretty unlikely. So I got him going 13th to the Washington Redskins. I think it'd be a pretty good fit. Next pick is the 14th overall pick, which belongs to the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, I think they need a little bit of help on the defensive end at the defensive end position. So I have them drafting Marcus Davenport, defensive end from, oh my gosh, he's from a small school. I think at the Texas San Antonio. He was really good. I don't really put players in these type of conferences in the first round, just because. Actually, I take that back because I'm putting Josh Allen in the first round. The only reason why I'm putting Josh Allen in the first round is just because of how much these analysts are saying that he's really, 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 really good. But if you look at Josh Allen through these Power 5 conference games, no. Throws more interceptions than he does touchdowns. Completion percentage is 20% lower than his own conference. It's not good. Doesn't look good on paper, but his film is great. He's got great film. But Marcus Davenport, 14th overall pick to the Green Bay Packers defensive end. Now, my last pick, this is why I wanted to go to 15, because the Cardinals are in it. Larry Fitzgerald is coming to an end. His career is coming to a close. I'm not saying that he's old. I'm not saying that he's done or any of that. I'm pretty sure that he's going to just choose to hang up the cleats soon. whether it's this year or next year. I think he's honestly got 4 or 5 years left in him for the way that he plays, the way he takes care of his body. I think he's got 4 or 5 years left in him. Honestly, no joke. I think he's as durable as Jerry Rice. But I think it's time for the Cardinals to draft their next wide receiver, to replace not to replace, but to fill in the shoes of Larry Fitzgerald. What better receiver to do that than Calvin Ridley? Alabama. Probably one of the most dynamic receivers I've seen in the last couple of years. He's really good. Really, really good. Big body. He reminds me of Amari Cooper, honestly. Not as fast, but I think he's got a little bit better ball skills. He's a little bit stronger as well, so I think he'll have an easier transition in his first year. Even though Amari had a really good transition in his first year too, I think Calvin Ridley's going to just dominate. Which if Calvin Ridley falls, because the Dallas Cowboys do have the 19th overall pick, if Calvin Ridley falls, there's your Dez Bryant replacement right there. You get him in the draft. But that's it. That's picks 1 through 15. We're going to be doing a draft party tomorrow. We're going to be doing a draft party tomorrow for sure. I think the draft starts at 4. I don't know if I'm going to do either a live stream. Well, I am going to do a live stream. T-Cross. My bad, dude. I haven't even been looking at the chat, man. Shout out to T-Cross for coming in here, baby. What's going on, man? How you doing? Sorry, I wasn't looking at my chat here. How's your day going, T-Cross? So, just a little bit about me. I don't know if you're still in here or not. Like I said, I'm sorry. I was getting into my draft. I was looking at my draft board that I designed here. Oops, I'm actually going on to Twitch right now. Why does it say that I'm playing Heroes? God damn it, dude. Talk shows. Done. Man, that is lame. Cool. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm gonna send this guy a message. I was in the... So if you are still in here, I did just send you a message, T-Cross2309. T-Cross, this is my sports segment channel, so if you want to take a look at my page, I do some gaming as well. Heroes of the Storm, World of Warcraft. I'm going to be doing a lot of WoW Classic, but my dream is actually to do sports casting like I'm doing right now, just like kind of covering, like doing just like a little miniature sports analyst type of thing. Covered the NBA playoffs. I just covered the first 15 picks of the draft. I'm going to be having a little draft get together tomorrow. Let me see here. So yeah, the draft starts at 4. So yeah, we're gonna have we'll have the stream on. I don't know if we're gonna be playing games and doing it at the same time, doing the draft. We'll see. We'll see how it feels. We'll see how many people come in here and do it. All right, perfect. So, And I got permission from Michael Udall to go ahead and broadcast him. Sweet. All right. So yeah, tomorrow I will have some people in here doing the draft party. Hopefully I can get a couple people in to talk about these things. It's going to be a pretty fun time. But that's it for me. I've been on here for about, let me see here. Let me go back to my Streamlabs. Yeah, I've been on here for about an hour and 21 minutes or so. So we definitely went way over, but that's okay. I love sports. I love talking about sports. I am sorry that I didn't look at the chat in the last couple of minutes there. I was doing my draft board. So that took up my whole screen there. Again, I do apologize about that. I should just have this up at all times. So duly noted. Thank you, T-Cross, for keeping me keep me on my toes there. So anyways, so if you're not watching this now, you might just be watching it on YouTube now. So if you're watching it on YouTube, don't forget to follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/scrublord______. Not all of those, just one underscore, but I'm just emphasizing it. Follow me on Instagram Scrublord_Brody, just like that. My name it'll say Brody, so that's how you'll know it's me. My YouTube channel's down here. If you're watching it on Twitch, my YouTube channel's down here. Instagram, Twitter, follow it. We're trying to get a following going. We're trying to get a community built for Classic WoW, sports, Blizzard, games, bullshit, everything. We're just doing the whole thing right now. But I really appreciate everybody that came in. Again, T-Cross, I'm giving you a shout out. Shout out to T-Cross. T-Cross, you're getting the shout out on YouTube as well, my friend. So yeah, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Thank you again for stopping by. Peace. What, dog? You want to? All right, hold on. Come here, dog. You want to be in on the show now too? Later, guys.